Welcome back to Virtual Sunday School, kids. It's me, Rima Chichi here, bringing you guys today's story. Today's story is about these people called lepers. Not leopards, not animals with those spots on them, but these guys were called lepers, okay? So, do you guys know what lepers are? Back in the day, a long time ago, there was a disease called leprosy. Okay, kind of like what's happening now, where you have to stay away from people, you can't be too close to people, you can't breathe really close to people. Because if you do, and if someone has leprosy, it's easy and you get this disease too really fast, okay? So these lepers were made to spend time outside the city. They couldn't live with their friends, they couldn't live with their families. As soon as they found out they have this disease, they had to be away. They were outcast from society and no one would go near them, and they were really sad people. And these people were called lepers, okay? So with leprosy, they would have cuts all over them, they would have bruises and sores that would open and would bleed, and they would have bandages all around them to put to cover up the wounds, and it would look like this, okay? And so these guys would walk around outside the city looking like mummies, kind of, because all their wounds were wrapped up, and they would walk around asking people for money, for help, and this is what they looked like, okay? They were covered in bandages and they lived like this. So one day when Jesus was walking and he was almost to the city of Samaria, he heard a small voice, okay? He heard someone say, Jesus, please help us. And Jesus looked, and right over there by the city, okay, there were a few men. And Jesus looked over and he counted 1, 2, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There were 10 grown men with covered in bandages like this, standing, okay, waiting for someone to give them money or food because they couldn't go home. They were cast out and no one would go near them. And they reached out to Jesus and said, Jesus, please, can you help us? Can you give us food? Can you heal us maybe? And Jesus looked at them and said, go to the priest, okay, and tell them I have sent you. So they looked at each other and said, but it makes no sense. We already tried to go to the city and they told us to leave because we have leprosy and we can't go anywhere because they're afraid they're gonna catch the disease too, okay? But even though it didn't make sense, guess what they did? They obeyed Jesus and they ran towards the city. And as they were running towards the church where the priests are, guess what happened? Okay, they started to rip open the band-aids, and look, their skin was beautiful. They looked, they took off the band-aids, and wow, their skin was exactly like it was before they had leprosy. There were no sores. All their wounds and all their cuts and bruises healed up, and they looked beautiful again. Their skin was flawless again, like before they had leprosy. So they rejoiced and they were happy because Jesus had healed them. Okay, so one of the lepers said, I'm gonna go tell my wife and show her how I don't have leprosy anymore and I can come back home. And some of the other ones said, I'm gonna go throw a party and hang out with all my friends because I have been healed and I can go hang out with everybody again. So one by one, all the lepers left, okay? And there was just one leper left standing there. And he turned back around and guess who he saw? Jesus was still standing there. Okay, so he ran back towards Jesus and said, Jesus, I thank you for healing me. He fell on his knees and bowed down before Jesus and thanked him for healing the leper. Okay, so Jesus looked down at him and said, I healed all 10 of you, and only one person came back to thank me. Wow, isn't that an incredible story? So Jesus used this story to teach people the importance of saying thank you. Okay, there's so many things around us that we don't deserve, that wouldn't have been ours, but God still blessed us, right? God still granted us mercy and favor and gave us things that doesn't even belong to us, okay? He gave us good parents that love us and teach us to love God. He gave us good siblings, good brothers and sisters that we can play with, that we can talk to, that we can be around when we're sad, when we're feeling all types of way. You can hang out with them, right? Especially now when you're stuck at home. Who do you have? Your parents and your siblings and your families, right? So we have to thank God for all these wonderful things, for a good home, for food whenever we want, for all these blessings, because not everybody has those, okay? And so we can't be like the 9 lepers that once they got what they wanted, forgot God. We have to be like that one person that came back and didn't forget Jesus and didn't forget that He healed him. Okay, so we have to be thankful, and we have to always thank Jesus for all the mercies and blessings that He has shown us throughout our lives. Okay, wasn't that a really cool story? That's one of my favorite stories in the Bible. So we always have to have a thankful and grateful heart, and to God and to our parents, to our families, to our friends for being there for us, okay? And make sure that they know that we are thankful. All right? So I'm going to teach you guys how to say thank you Jesus in sign language. Okay? So this is what you do. You're going to say thank you Jesus. Oh, I'm kidding. The middle finger. So you're going to say, thank you, middle finger, Jesus. Okay? Make sure you do that, okay? Because we're going to say it with our mouth. We're going to sign it no matter where we are and what time of day it is. Before we go to sleep, when we wake up in the morning, make sure we thank Jesus for the blessings He's given us. All right, you guys? What else? Okay, so send in your memory verses. I love you guys, and Sarah Chichi and Rim Chichi are praying for you guys always. Make sure you say a thankful prayer to Jesus today, okay? Love you guys. Bye.